Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that will shift your life today if you let it. Gratitude is a game changer. Now I know you're out here hustling, grinding, trying to make ends meet, chasing goals, dreaming big. I see you. But let me ask you a question. When was the last time you paused just to say a thank you? Not for something big, not for winning the lottery. I'm talking about waking up in the morning and your eyes open. That breath you just took, that's a blessing. See, the problem is we get so focused on what we don't have, we miss what we do have. You praying for a bigger house, but forgot to thank God for the roof over your head now. You want that promotion, but you never said thank you for the job you already got. Gratitude doesn't mean you settle. It doesn't mean you stop dreaming. It means you recognize where you are so you can respect where you're going. Because if you can't appreciate the small, you won't handle the big. Let me tell you something powerful. Gratitude turns what you have into enough, and then enough becomes more. When you're grateful, your energy changes, your mindset changes, your outlook changes. And guess what? So does your life. You want to change your life? Start a habit of gratitude. Write down 5 things every morning you're thankful for. Say a thank you before you say a please. Look for blessings before you count burdens. That attitude, that shift, that's what separates winners from whiners. Gratitude is not weakness, it's power. It builds resilience. It fuels patience. It opens doors. You start seeing opportunity where others see obstacles. You start showing up different. People feel it. The universe feels it. So I'm telling you today, stop waiting to be happy to be grateful. Be grateful, and you'll find happiness shows up on its own. Gratitude is the game changer. And once you play that game right, everything else starts falling in place. Thank you. Gratitude shifts focus from lack to abundance. This simple truth has the power to change the way you experience every single day of your life. Most people wake up already thinking about what's missing, what they don't have, what they're running out of, what went wrong yesterday. It's a natural human tendency, but it's also a trap. When your mind constantly focuses on what's lacking, you create a sense of limitation. You feel like you're behind, like you're not enough, like life owes you something. That's a heavy weight to carry, and it keeps you stuck. Now picture the opposite. Imagine waking up and immediately recognizing something good, something you already have. It could be as simple as the bed you slept in, the breath in your lungs, or the ability to move, think, and try again. That shift in focus might seem small, but it changes everything. When you choose gratitude, you're saying, I acknowledge what is right in my life right now. You stop obsessing over what's missing and start seeing what's present. And here's the secret. What you focus on grows. If you focus on lack, lack expands. If you focus on abundance, begins to multiply. Gratitude isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing to see value even in imperfection. It doesn't deny that challenges exist, but it refuses to let them define your mindset. You could be going through something incredibly difficult, yet still find reasons to be thankful. That choice to focus on even the smallest blessing turns your attention away from despair and redirects it to hope. And hope, when combined with gratitude, builds a resilient spirit. Most people are living with a scarcity mentality. They believe there's never enough time, money, opportunity, or love. But that's not a reflection of truth. It's a reflection of focus. Someone else with less than what you have right now could be living a more joyful and fulfilled life simply because they've trained themselves to focus on what they do have instead of what they don't. It's all about perspective. Gratitude opens your eyes to the richness already around you. This doesn't mean ambition disappears. Gratitude isn't the enemy of growth. It's the fuel. When you're grateful, your energy shifts. You're no longer chasing goals from a place of desperation, but from a place of fullness. You begin to create, build, and grow, not because you're trying to fill a void, but because you're excited to expand what's already good. That shift is powerful. It produces peace instead of pressure, confidence instead of anxiety. Think about how this plays out in everyday situations. A person who is constantly thinking about what they lack may go to work frustrated, carry stress home, and push people away without even realizing it. Meanwhile, someone who leads with gratitude walks into the same job, sees it as an opportunity, shows up with energy, and ends up attracting more success. It's not because one had more than the other. It's because one saw more than the other. Gratitude sharpened their vision. There's also a deep emotional benefit. When you live in a state of gratitude, you become more present. You notice the warmth in a conversation, the beauty in a moment, the kindness in a gesture. You stop waiting for some future event to make you happy and begin to experience joy right where you are. That presence adds richness to life that money can't buy. Gratitude moves your mind from survival mode to possibility mode. It gives you the mental space to dream again because you're no longer drowning in everything you think you lack. Instead, you begin to think, if I already have this, what more can I create? That question alone opens doors that used to feel locked. Appreciating small blessings prepares you for bigger ones. It's easy to dream of success, of wealth, of recognition, and want all the big milestones in life. People often say they're waiting for that a big break or that a life-changing moment, but what they fail to realize is that preparation for those big things begins with how you handle the small. Life doesn't just hand you the mountain, it gives you pebbles to see how you carry them. If you can't be faithful with the little, how can you be trusted with the much? The truth is, everything great starts small. Every powerful tree begins as a seed. Every skyscraper begins with a single brick. And every breakthrough starts with small, often overlooked blessings. But because those blessings don't always look flashy or feel impressive, we take them for granted. Waking up on time, having food in the fridge, someone checking in on you, finishing a task you committed to, these may not feel like headline moments, but they are the groundwork for the life you say you want. When you learn to appreciate those small blessings, something inside you changes. You develop the mindset of a steward, someone who takes care of what they have with intention and care. That stewardship is what prepares you for more. If you're grateful for the little you have, you're going to treat it with value. And when you treat it with value, you create an environment where growth becomes possible. You're no longer waiting on big things to happen to feel fulfilled. You're finding fulfillment in the steps you're already taking. That attitude is what opens the door to more. People often say, when I get more money, I'll be generous. Or when I get the big job, I'll work harder. Or once I get that relationship, I'll be. But the reality is, if you're not generous with a little, you won't suddenly become generous with a lot. If you don't show up fully to a small job, you won't magically transform when you get the corner office. If you can't find happiness alone, someone else can't give it to you. Big things only magnify what's already in you. That's why appreciating the small is so important. It reveals your character and builds the habits that expansion depends on. Small blessings also train your perspective. They teach you to recognize goodness in moments that others might overlook. That ability to see beauty, purpose, and meaning in ordinary experiences is what makes extraordinary living possible. You don't need fireworks to feel joy. You need awareness. A conversation, a kind gesture, lesson learned from a mistake. These are all small things that carry immense weight if you know how to see them. Gratitude for the small also builds discipline. Think about the person who consistently shows up even when no one is watching. Who keeps putting in the work without applause? Who honors commitments, takes care of what they have, and doesn't despise humble beginnings? That person is building a foundation so strong that when bigger opportunities come, they're ready. They're not surprised or overwhelmed. They've been practicing for it all along. Appreciating small blessings also keeps you grounded. When the big things do come, and they will, you won't be swayed by ego or entitlement. You'll remember where you started. You'll carry the humility that comes from knowing how far you've come and how each step mattered. That humility attracts more favor, more trust, and deeper relationships. People want to support someone who honors their journey, not just their destination. In a world obsessed with highlights and overnight success, it takes strength to value the quiet victories, but those victories are the true building blocks of anything lasting. Recognizing and appreciating them doesn't just prepare you for bigger blessings. It transforms you into the kind of person who can carry those blessings with wisdom, with gratitude, and with grace. Gratitude transforms your mindset. It changes the way you interpret your experiences, how you view yourself, and how you see the world around you. When you choose to be grateful, you're not simply reacting to life, you're shaping your perception. That shift is powerful because it determines how you respond to challenges, how you carry yourself in uncertain moments, and how you connect with others. Your mindset is the lens through which you experience everything, and gratitude cleans and sharpens that lens. Most people live on autopilot, constantly scanning for what's wrong, what's missing, or what needs to be fixed. It's a mindset of survival, one built on fear, stress, and dissatisfaction. It's easy to get stuck there, especially in a world that bombards you with messages that you're not enough, that you need more, that everyone else is ahead of you. But when you train your mind to focus on what's good, on what's working, and on what you've already received, you shift into a mindset of appreciation. That mindset isn't just more peaceful, it's more productive, more creative, and more resilient. Gratitude doesn't remove problems, but it puts them in perspective. You start to realize that difficulty doesn't cancel out blessing. You could be going through something painful and still find something to be thankful for. That ability to hold both realities at once builds emotional strength. It allows you to experience life more fully, not only when things are going well, but also when things are uncertain. Your mindset becomes rooted in possibility instead of fear. You stop believing that good things can still happen, even if today is hard. This transformation affects your inner dialogue. Instead of constantly thinking, I'll be happy when, or nothing is going right, you start thinking, oh, there's still something here to value, or I've made it through worse. That shift isn't automatic, it takes practice. But over time, gratitude rewires your brain. It helps you notice the wins, even when they're small. It helps you see progress where you once saw stagnation. That new way of thinking brings peace, clarity, and confidence. It doesn't just change how you feel, it changes how you show up. Your mindset also determines how you interpret other people's actions. When you're not operating from a grateful place, it's easy to assume the worst. You feel overlooked, underappreciated, or judged. But when you carry gratitude in your heart, you become more gracious. You give people the benefit of the doubt. You notice their effort. You see the kindness they offer instead of focusing on what they didn't do. That shift leads to deeper, healthier connections. Gratitude opens your heart, and that openness transforms relationships. A grateful mindset also affects how you set goals and pursue success. Instead of chasing validation, you pursue purpose. Instead of comparing yourself to others, you appreciate your own path. That doesn't mean you stop striving. It means you strive with intention instead of insecurity. You're no longer trying to prove something, you're building on something. That internal security gives you the freedom to take risks, to learn from failure, and to grow without fear of falling short. Gratitude removes the pressure to be perfect and replaces it with the motivation to be consistent. Even in moments of waiting, gratitude reshapes your mindset. It teaches you to see waiting not as wasted time, but as preparation. You begin to value the process, not just the result. You recognize the growth happening beneath the surface. That mindset helps you stay patient, focused, and hopeful. It's not about pretending everything is okay. It's about knowing that in the midst of uncertainty, there's still something good to hold on to. That knowledge grounds you. It strengthens you. It gives you direction when emotions try to pull you off course. Gratitude doesn't make life perfect, but it makes it livable, beautiful, and meaningful. When your mindset is built on appreciation, you're no longer just surviving, you're thriving. You're moving through life with eyes wide open, a heart that sees and a mind that understands the power of every moment. Being grateful creates momentum. Gratitude is more than just a pleasant feeling. It's an energy, a force that moves you forward. When you begin to consistently acknowledge and appreciate the good in your life, no matter how small, you begin to build emotional and mental momentum. It's like lighting a spark inside yourself that slowly grows into a fire. That fire fuels action, motivation, and resilience. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's working, and that perspective breeds hope and determination. Momentum is all about movement. It's about getting something started and keeping it going. One of the biggest challenges people face is staying consistent. They start strong but lose steam. They get excited, but that excitement fizzles out. Gratitude changes that. When you build a daily habit of gratitude, you keep your spirit fueled. You wake up thinking not about what you like, but about what you have. That mental shift gives you the strength to keep going, even when the road gets hard. When you're grateful, you see possibilities instead of problems. You see progress even if it's small. That kind of vision builds confidence. Imagine someone trying to improve their life but constantly feeling discouraged. Every obstacle looks like a wall. Every delay feels like failure. That person ends up moving in circles or standing still because their mindset is rooted in lack. Now imagine someone else facing the same circumstances, but with a heart full of gratitude. They see each small win as proof they're on the right path. They celebrate growth, no matter how slow. That attitude builds internal momentum, and soon that momentum spills over into action. They're not waiting for motivation. They're creating it from within. Gratitude also changes the way you interact with people. When you're in a grateful state, you become more positive, more open, and more resilient to criticism or negativity. That affects your relationships, your work, and even your ability to lead others. People are drawn to grateful energy. It's uplifting, it's strong, and it's consistent. When you carry that energy, you begin to attract opportunities, support, and breakthroughs. That attraction creates even more momentum. One good thing leads to another, not because everything is suddenly perfect, but because your mindset makes you see and sees the opportunities that were always there. Momentum doesn't always come from big wins. In fact, it usually comes from small, consistent acknowledgments of progress. You start recognizing that you handled a tough conversation better than last time. You realize that even though your situation hasn't completely changed, your reaction to it has. That's momentum. It's emotional movement, and it matters just as much as external success. Gratitude sharpens your ability to track and celebrate that movement. And the more you celebrate it, the more of it you create. There's also a spiritual side to momentum fueled by gratitude. When you're truly thankful, you operate from a place of trust. You start to believe that things are working out for you even if you don't see the full picture yet. That belief gives you peace. It removes the pressure to have all the answers today and allows you to take steps with that. You stop forcing outcomes and start flowing with purpose. That flow builds consistency, and consistency is what turns effort into achievement. Gratitude helps you maintain perspective when things slow down. Every journey has moments where progress feels invisible. Those are the moments people give up because they can't see what's working. But if you've trained yourself to be grateful, you can still find encouragement in the silence. You can still find energy in the little things that keeps you moving, even when the pace isn't fast. And the key to reaching any destination is simply not stopping. Gratitude is an active choice, not a passive feeling. It doesn't just happen to you when life is going well. It's not something you wait for or depend on circumstances to trigger. Gratitude is a decision you make, often in moments when it feels the hardest to do so. It's a discipline, a mental practice, a deliberate act of shifting your attention toward what is right, even when a lot feels wrong. This is what separates those who move forward from those who stay stuck. When you learn to choose gratitude regardless of your situation, you take control of your mindset and your emotional well-being. Most people associate gratitude with emotion. They believe that when something good happens, they'll feel thankful. But the truth is, that kind of gratitude is fragile. It's based on outcomes, and outcomes aren't always in your control. Life brings challenges, disappointments, and waiting periods. If your gratitude is conditional, it will vanish the moment circumstances shift. But when gratitude becomes a choice, it becomes a source of strength that no one can take from you. You start showing up with gratitude not because life is perfect, but because you've trained your mind to see the good even in imperfection. Choosing gratitude doesn't mean denying hardship. It means acknowledging the difficulty while still choosing to recognize what's still working, what's still beautiful, what's still valuable. That kind of gratitude builds emotional resilience. It helps you face challenges with a mindset of hope rather than despair. It allows you to carry peace in the middle of uncertainty because you've learned to ground yourself in what's present and what's true instead of being consumed by what's missing or what's feared. Gratitude as a choice also means taking responsibility for how you experience life. You don't have to wait for everything to go your way to find joy. You can create it through intention. When you start your day with a decision to notice the good, you train your brain to seek it out. Over time, this rewires your perspective. You begin to see life through a lens of appreciation rather than entitlement. You notice moments others ignore. You find value in things others overlook. That shift creates a different kind of life, not necessarily easier, but fuller. There's power in writing down things you're grateful for, even when you don't feel like it. That small act reinforces your choice. It teaches your mind to stay aware of blessings, big and small. Whether it's a smile from a stranger, a lesson from a failure, or just the quiet comfort of a morning routine, these acknowledgments add up. They become a habit, and habits shape identity. When you consistently choose gratitude, you start to become a grateful person. Not just someone who occasionally feels thankful, but someone who lives in that state daily. This choice also changes how you treat others. When you choose to be grateful, you naturally become more patient, more generous, and more understanding. You stop focusing so much on what others owe you and start seeing what they bring to your life. That shift in attitude improves relationships. It builds connection. People feel seen, appreciated, and valued when they're around someone who lives with intentional gratitude. It creates a positive ripple effect that extends far beyond you. Gratitude doesn't eliminate problems, but it changes how you respond to them. When things go wrong, and they inevitably will, gratitude gives you the strength to keep perspective. It reminds you that difficulty isn't the whole story. There are still things to fight for, still reasons to move forward. That clarity helps you stay grounded in times of chaos. It keeps your focus on what you can control, your attitude, your response, your perspective. Gratitude is the foundation of true happiness and success. Many people spend their lives chasing something they believe will finally make them happy. More money, a better job, a bigger house, a new relationship, or public recognition. They put happiness on the other side of achievement, thinking it's something that comes later after they've reached a specific milestone. But the truth is, happiness that's dependent on external success is always fleeting. It rises and falls with circumstance. Real, lasting happiness comes from within, and gratitude is what unlocks it. When you live with a grateful heart, you learn to find contentment in the now. You realize that life doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. You stop postponing joy until everything lines up and instead start discovering it in the middle of the journey. That shift in mindset is what gives life depth. It allows you to experience peace without waiting for perfection. It allows you to celebrate progress without needing the full picture to feel satisfied. That's where real happiness begins. Not in having everything, but in appreciating what you already have. Gratitude also grounds you. In a world that constantly pushes you to want more, be more, and do more, gratitude pulls you back to center. It quiets the noise that tells you you're not enough or that your life is incomplete. It helps you recognize the value of what you've already accomplished, who you become, and what you've overcome. That recognition is powerful. It builds self-worth and inner confidence. It reminds you that success isn't just about results, it's about growth, effort, character, and purpose. At the same time, gratitude fuels ambition in a healthy way. Some people think that being content means losing your drive, but it's actually the opposite. When you're grateful, your pursuit of success becomes purpose-driven rather than pressure-driven. You're not chasing success out of fear or insecurity. You're moving forward from a place of abundance, not lack. That kind of motivation is sustainable. It's not about proving your worth. It's about expressing your potential. It's not about filling a void. It's about expanding what's already good. Gratitude also deepens your definition of success. Instead of measuring it only by wealth, status, or achievement, you begin to include things like peace of mind, strong relationships, personal integrity, and inner joy. You realize that true success is holistic. It touches every part of your life, not just your bank account or your resume. Gratitude helps you see those less visible parts of success, the moments of clarity, the times you acted with courage, the support you received when you needed it most. These things often go unnoticed, but they matter deeply. This mindset also affects how you respond to failure and setback. When your identity and joy are rooted in gratitude, you're not as shaken by disappointment. You may feel it, but it doesn't destroy you. You've trained yourself to look for the lesson, to appreciate the experience, to stay hopeful. That kind of resilience is what separates those who bounce back from those who give up. Gratitude gives you the emotional strength to keep going, to keep believing, and to keep showing up. Another powerful effect of gratitude is how it impacts the people around you. A grateful person is often a joy to be around. They uplift, encourage, and inspire others. They notice effort, express appreciation, and bring a sense of peace into relationships. That kind of presence builds strong communities, strong families, and strong teams. Gratitude isn't just a personal habit. It becomes a leadership quality, a relationship builder, and a cultural strength. The people who lead with gratitude often find that others want to follow, support, and collaborate with them. So if you're looking for a way to shift your life, start with your mindset. Let gratitude be the anchor. It won't solve every problem, but it will change how you face them. It will give you the clarity to see opportunities where others see obstacles, the strength to keep moving when others stop, and the peace to stay grounded in the storm. Gratitude doesn't just transform your mindset, it transforms your life. And that right there is the game changer.